Right, so there's a lot of people saying that SLI is about to die or is already dead. In this video, yeah, we're gonna try and see if we can answer this. We're gonna be running Call of Duty Black Ops 4 with 2 graphics cards to see if we can gain any noticeable frame rate by a multi-GPU setup. And yeah, with that said, let's get started. Alright, so hey, how is it going guys? Robin here on Chips Entertainment, bringing you the best tips and tools for gaming. On this channel, you'll find PC components, tech gadgets and console accessories, as well as product reviews and unboxings. So if you're interested in that, yeah, you want to subscribe and don't forget to tap the notification bell so that you don't miss out on future videos. Now, on this series, we're gonna be testing 2 graphics cards in current popular gaming titles. Now, I want to know in the comments, guys, what games would you like me to test in future videos? In the past, we have looked at Assassin's Creed Odyssey, for example, and there will be tons of other games joining in this series as well. So make sure to subscribe so that you don't miss out on future videos. A few things here before we begin the testing in Black Ops 4. So I have been using the latest driver from Nvidia provided by the GeForce Experience, and as of posting this video, the latest driver is the 416.34, and I'm gonna be running this whole testing on my main gaming rig, so to speak, which is an AMD Ryzen 1700, and it's running in stock clocks. We got a 370X board from Asus ROG, and we got 16 gigabytes of RAM running in 3000 megahertz, and I'm running the latest build of Windows 10. Also, we're gonna be focusing on the game mode Blackout in this session, basically because it's the most demanding game mode in the game. Now let's start by deactivating SLI and start with just one card. Since there's no built-in benchmark in this game, I'm gonna be playing around and I'm gonna be flying around in helicopters to try and put as much stress on the system as possible. So I got 2 monitors running, and the other monitor, on the second monitor, I was running the task managers to keep track of the whole system, to see how much the CPU, the RAM and everything, how everything plays together, and see how much the system is being utilized and if there could be something that is bottlenecking, so to speak. So now, a few things here that I've noticed generally about this game is that I'm not sure if you guys would agree with me here as well. I don't think Call of Duty is a ugly looking game, but in some angles it just doesn't look that great. Textures looks generally pretty good, but they seem to load in rather slow. Sometimes I wonder if this might just be a driver's issue. However, it never messes with the gaming experience, however, since it fixes itself pretty quickly. Now, if you're sitting on an AMD graphics card, are you seeing slow loading textures as well? Please let me know in the comments. Also, I mean, what's up with the shadows in the game? I want to say that I think the game looks great, but even with everything turned up to the absolute max, I think Call of Duty Black Ops 4 is a rather ugly looking game. Anyway, let me know in the comments below, guys, if you agree or simply think I'm an idiot now. Now, I'm starting to sound like a nagging old lady, so I'm gonna be running with just one graphics card now, and we're gonna be cranking everything up to the very highest preset now, which basically maxes everything, including anti-aliasing, which is set to very high. But something you need to be aware of here, guys, I'm actually exceeding the amount of VRAM we have for the system here. So if you see any stutter, spoiler alert, there will be some stutter here. It will be most likely because of that. And yeah, with that said, let's jump into the first test and the first attempt with AA set to very high. We got the CPU utilization around the 20 to 30% load. The GPU were staying around 100% load all the time, and the RAM was at around 60% usage. We're seeing a minimum FPS at 32 frames, an average of 50 FPS or so, and a max at 95 FPS or so. And this is actually, I wouldn't say it's playable because it's a little bit too laggy for me to say it's playable. But the second run I decided to turn off AA, and by doing so we gained approximately 10 to even 15 frames, which made the game totally playable, and I would be more than happy to actually play at this preset without hesitating whatsoever. So with everything maxed out basically and AA set to off, it's a pleasant experience with an average FPS of 65 FPS or so, and it maxes out at the 100 mark. And now to the interesting moment, time to activate SLI and see what happens. And boom, right away with everything maxed out, very high settings, AA is set to very high, and the game averages 75 FPS, believe it or not. Minimum frame rates were spotted at around 50, the 50 mark, and it maxes out at around 180 FPS. And this is a very smooth and enjoyable frame rate to play at, I gotta say. Again, CPU were staying around to 30 to 40% load, and both of the graphics cards were peaking all the time at 100% load. Now, there were some small spikes and hiccups here, and this is due to the lack of video memory basically. So I wanted to verify this as well, so I scaled back on the settings even more to basically try and run the game with less video memory usage, and by doing so the hiccups and the frame drops were gone. So this is a confirmation. So now, it needs to be said that this is kind of the biggest bummer of having two graphics cards, because even though we got 4 gigs of VRAM on each card, the way SLI works, you're still limited to that 4 GB because of the mirroring effect. And since this is the GTX 970, we only got 3.5 of faster video memory as well, so stutter like this with these cards were expected. So how do you get rid of the stutter? Just scale back on the texture quality a bit and you should be good to go. And yeah, while we're on it, let's look at the second attempt without anti-aliasing on, and you can see that the averages is now around 80 FPS. It maxes out over 180 frames per second, and we got a minimum spotted at 57 FPS. Although it should be said that the only time that I was actually experiencing this stutter, so to speak, happened in the helicopter up in the air. Otherwise that was 100% good at all times. Now, conclusion time to graphics cards in Black Ops 4. Is it worth it? I'd say it's definitely worth it if you have space in your case and you have a power supply to handle two graphics cards, and you're able to find a cheap used card of the same model on, let's say, eBay or Amazon. Let's say you got a friend, maybe he's upgrading, he doesn't need his old card any longer, you happen to have a identical card, for example. This is a perfect opportunity for you to gain a ton of performance basically for free. And as you can see in this performance, and by throwing in two graphics cards in your system, you should see an increase in this game of 60 to even 80% more frames per second, which is pretty damn good. If you can pick up a cheap used GTX card, you can get away here super cheap. Again, be aware of the video RAM and the potential issues by using two graphics cards. Now, if dual graphics cards isn't your cup of tea, one of the best bang for the buck graphics cards right now is the GTX 1060 6GB version. I'll link the card up down below for you guys if you're interested in a great gaming card that will pretty much max out pretty much all games in 1080p. And yeah, with that said, I'm curious to know, guys, what do you think about the game? Obviously, I want to know what do you think about the shadows and all that good stuff. Thank you so much for watching this video, and until next time, have an awesome day, alright? Bye!